Welcome to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast, where we explore personal, professional, and financial success stories of top achievers. Let's dive in.
Welcome to Pathways to Prosperity of Entrepreneurs, where we spotlight trailblazing, performing industries and empowering communities. Today, we're excited to introduce Steve, a leadership expert with over 25 years of experience in team development and organizational effectiveness. Steve has dedicated his career in helping businesses bridge the gap between strategy and execution, creating high-performance cultures that thrive in today's complex environment. So, Steve, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How about yourself? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's. It's definitely things have already kind of, went kind of crazy with the president recently dying, Mr. Carter, one
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
greatest presidents that we've had so far, in my
yeah.
opinion. Definitely made a big bridge like you're doing right now also. Um, with that being said, and so can you possibly give us a snapshot of your business?
Yeah, I own a coaching consulting company, Steve Gavatorta Group, and what I do is I go work with clients to really uncover their needs, developmental needs from a business perspective, personnel and business perspective, and build customized training development programs, coaching training development programs for their respective needs. All clients are different. And my niche is basically really building custom-based programs because not all businesses are the same, not all industries are the same as well too. And this customized approach actually builds better retention of the learnings as well too. So that's what I pride myself on.
So there's a lot of competition with, doing the business, being a
Yeah.
business expert, being able to really strategize and really help, especially with AI being able to take over. Like, why? Like, what sets you apart from the other players in the industry?
Yeah, and kind of what I said earlier. I've worked for consultants doing training on their modules and stuff as well too. I worked in corporate America for over 20 years prior to my owning my
Mm.
business now, and a lot of business consultants, personal development consultants that I've dealt with in my past life in corporate America, and I've run across over the years build their programs are very vanilla. What they would
Right.
teach to one industry or company is exactly the same. And again, my point of differentiation is every business is different, every industry is different. So
Mm.
really spending the time uncovering their needs, the issues they're facing, what their customers are looking for, and then developing relevant, specific modules to meet those needs. A lot of companies, my competition, say they do those things, but they really don't. Again, because I've experienced it from the side of corporate America, receiving the training and then owning my business for 20 years, running across other consultants. I know darn well that they're not customizing programs. So that makes it's good and bad. The best part is that I land more business, we get better retention. The difficult part is every client's different. It's a lot of upfront work working with my clients. Even if I'm working with sales teams, I will go out in the field and I'll work with the sales force to understand what they may need help with when they're selling, what their customers are asking for. That time in the field working with them helps me understand those things they're facing and allows me to build customized programs, again, based on what I'm witnessing. There's nothing worse than having to go in there and the
Mhm.
consultant doesn't understand your business, what they're training isn't relevant, and that's one reason I left corporate America, because I always had a heart for training. And a lot of
Okay.
consultants were coming in and doing these workshops, and we're sitting in a room going, this doesn't make sense. We're not going to use this. This person doesn't understand our business. This is a waste of time. And I thought to myself, wow, I know what would be good. It's understanding the needs up front first and building specific programs relevant to those needs. So I don't delve out of things out of my wheelhouse. I know that much. So I create wins on certain programs with certain industries, and I build off those industries. 90% of my business growth is via word of mouth, which is the best marketing you could have because it doesn't cost a nickel, and you get it from a valued, trusted resource. So that's a good place to be.
So, yeah. So with the industry being like that, with a lot of people are now trying to figure out how to do the quickest or even try to be the best they can be. I feel like that a lot of coaching, like you said, is very vanilla. It's very, it's
Mhm.
one set. No one really wants to be into. I feel like a lot of people want to now just kind of have a DIY, but being able
Mhm.
to be a successful entrepreneur and a successful business, you have to be essentially flexible. You have to be a very forward-thinking mind, and I think that a lot of people it's really hard because if people think that, oh, they see social media, they see Instagram, they say, oh, I can just do this one whole drop shipping thing itself, and oh, there you go, I'm gonna make $1 million by
Yeah,
tomorrow. But they don't understand
yeah,
that the
yeah.
complexities with, especially with the product shortage, right? And with people just being so different nowadays, and people having different ideas and trying to capture it in different ways. I definitely feel like that having a coach who's being able to not only see both sides of it, but who's willing to really create a very tailor-made plan is a major thing. I think that it's something that
Yeah,
we don't really have nowadays.
yeah. I'm doing a webinar tomorrow on business development. One of the things I quote is one of my clients who is a very stressful, he's in a stressful industry, very stressful job. And he says to me, I go to bed nervous and I wake up scared. And I share
Yeah,
that in my presentations to help people understand if you don't understand what's keeping him up at night, if you can't understand what his concerns are
right.
and solve for them, you're useless, you're worthless.
Yeah,
So the key is to spend the time and understand what's keeping him up at night, what's making him worried, what's concerning to him, what does he need to do to grow his business. If I can uncover those things up front and provide a
mhm,
relevant solution for that, I'm going to help him sleep at night, and that's going to be memorable for him. That's going to be what he looks for. That's going to build trust, and that's going to build long-term loyalty too. So all customers are created differently, and that truth be told, that's a fun part of my job, is really uncovering the different issues people, companies are facing, and like building that relevant program. That's what I get excitement from, solving that puzzle. If I did vanilla things every day, I'd be bored stiff. I wouldn't be doing this. It excites me to learn about different businesses and different industries, because they're all
right,
there's similarities across many different industries and
right.
businesses, but there's nuances that you really need to understand that can make a difference.
So if anyone was listening right now and wanted to know the biggest pillars to being able to be a successful business and what to look for, or what are the biggest hurdles to even start, or the mindset, what would you recommend them to do? Like, what were like what's the biggest pillar that you think that have been the most common for business owners to really struggle when they're trying to get I guess to grow?
Just as a house needs to be built on a strong foundation, so does a business.
Okay.
So I do a lot of business development work and things of that nature. I always tell people the first thing you want to do is look at creating vision, mission, and values. Those are key. Understand what's the vision of this company? What are we trying to accomplish? That
Mhm.
50,000-foot view. Why do we do what we do? What's the why of what we're doing? And then
Okay.
secondly, really flesh out what I call the three strategic objectives. Every business is in business for three things. One, to drive top line sales slash cash flow. That's the life
Okay.
of any business. If you don't have cash flow, if you don't have
Right.
revenue, you can't pay bills, you can't pay employees, you can't investment spend. So that's number one. Number two is you want to be profitable. And number three, you want to have some sort of incrementality or growth objective, grow my market share, grow new customers, whatever that is. So first, build your vision, mission, values out. What's your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Then secondly, flesh out what are your mechanisms for driving revenue and cash flow, driving profitability, and what are incremental growth opportunities. If you can lay out that, if you can
Okay.
build from that foundation, everything else will fall into place. So most companies don't realize that. Every company is in Steve Gavatorta Group, Stanley Black and Decker, Home
Mhm.
Depot, Apple Computers wants to do those three things. Most people starting a business or small companies don't really think they know they have
Yeah.
to have cash flow. They know I might need to be profitable, but they don't spend the time to define how am I going to drive cash flow? What are my
Mhm.
profit margins? And there could be different
Mhm.
product lines or services you're offering that could be could offer different profit mechanisms. There could be certain things I might not make a lot of profit on, but it's a service or a product I offer that drives people to use my product. Once I get them in the fold, then maybe I want them to buy higher profitable items. So you have to understand how those dynamics work in your business. So once again, vision, mission, values first. Secondly, flesh out your three strategic objectives. And again, that's driving revenue, cash flow. Number one. Number two, profitability. Number three is have some sort of growth or incrementality mechanism.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely feel like that smaller businesses don't feel like that they can grow as much as other businesses, or they feel like that they're not able to hit that profit margin, especially since, I feel like a lot of people are on edge. So being able to really define, I feel like definition, being able to have numbers set really helps to understand what the goal is. And I feel like that's like something that people are like, they want to be rich, right? They say, I want to be rich, but
Yeah.
technically a dollar more is being rich, right?
Well, if
So,
I'm priced too high and no one's purchasing your product or service, it doesn't matter, right? No, you're not
right.
making any money. Then
Right.
again, if you're trying to get so many customers in it, you're not making money. That could be a problem. You might lowball a price just to get people in the door to your product and service. And ultimately, you're spinning your wheels and not making money. That's not good either. So it's imperative to figure those things out first. What is that mechanism? Just look at a grocery store. A lot of people don't
Mhm.
realize items like toothpaste, toilet paper, milk. Grocery stores make very little money on that, or if any money at
Mhm.
all, because those things are what we call 100% household penetration, meaning everybody uses. We're going to lowball the price to get people in the store.
Right.
However, they'll make their margin up on other items in there. If Steve buys
Mhm.
toothpaste, he may buy mouthwash, which has a very high profit margin. So they're very
Okay.
good at profit blending. They
Mhm.
know how to drive people in the store, keep them in the store, and then also make money as well too. Drive that cash flow, but be profitable. That's the kind of balance any business needs to have, is to understand three strategic attributes. If you don't have that laid out, it could be a difficult road for you.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I definitely feel like that, like, having a roadmap is something that a lot of small business owners don't really have. They say they have it, but it's their head is like more, like you said, it's more about a profit, but they don't know how much is a profit. How much do they want to really drive in their customers? They want to be different, but essentially, like I said, every business has the same foundation. It's just how they define it.
Yeah. Well, even a lot of bigger companies, they may build these things out, but they don't eat, drink, and sleep it every day. Like all their employees don't realize kind of the role these products play and
Mhm.
how that can help me as I engage with my customer. So it needs to be built first. It needs to be communicated, and everyone in the organization needs to find out the role they play in driving those things internally. A lot of people, most often, sales and marketing feel closest to the strategic objectives because they're responsible for
Right.
engaging with the customer. They're for top of
Hmm.
hand. But other departments like finance or IT may not feel as close to those things because they're not engaging with a customer. However, the roles they play, IT, if I'm creating
Hmm.
a new forecasting tool that is going to save money, that helps drive our profit goals. If we develop that estimating tool that also can help the salespeople be more effective with their customers, that can help sales. So everybody needs to feel ownership in the company to those three things. And so you need to create it,
Hmm.
communicate it, and make sure everybody understands the role they play in driving those things. That creates a unified movement and more teamwork as well, too.
Yeah, because like I said, one side is direct with them versus, I mean, I feel like I feel like IT plays a big part, and like I said, they're really undervalued in a lot of places. They're really
Well,
looked upon, and I definitely understand that. So
they may
being in
not
your
see
20,
how they may drive sales, but what they
yeah,
may do, because they're not selling literally, but
yeah,
they
yeah.
could be creating, processes and procedures
Hmm.
and things in place to help help the sales team be more effective or help the customer accomplish what they need to do. So they do indeed have ownership in it. You're correct.
Yep. So, being in the industry for 25 years, what do you feel like has been one of the, or I mean, 20 plus years, right? What do you think feel like has been like the
Actually, more.
biggest hurdle in overcoming your career and being able to be so successful?
I mean, just, I wouldn't say it's like, I guess it is a hurdle. It's a more of a mindset. When you
Okay.
leave, I was in corporate America over 20 years. I had a base salary, good base salary, I had a company car, I had my insurance paid for. And I
Hmm.
wouldn't say this is a big hurdle, but it's something even after all these years, I still struggle with sometimes is, just the ebbs and flows of being in business on your own. There's
Right.
those downtimes like COVID you have to get over and worry about cash flow. There's
Hmm.
clients who, you may lose a key decision maker that was very supportive of you. That person may move on or they may leave, and now you're
Right.
stuck trying to rebuild that again and rebuild that relationship again. So for me, it's a mental thing, the ebbs and flows of the business over these 20 some years. I've been successful. I was in corporate America 20 years. I've owned my business for 20 years. So 40 years roughly I've been in this world. And
Hmm.
after the 20 years of my own business, the ebbs and flows can still, hit me a little bit. I'm still not used to it, even though I'm successful. So it's a mental hurdle more than anything. It's like, oh, here we go again. And I'm a single operator. I don't have any employees working for me.
Okay.
When I need to scale, because I don't want them. I don't want that. I don't want that dynamic. I like working on my own. But when I need to scale, there are other consultants that I can call on, and we can work together to,
Okay.
attack a client. Um, so I don't know where I was going with that. What was I going to say? But scaling. Oh, that's what it is. So me being a single operator, when I get engulfed in a big client that's very time consuming, it often takes me away from being able to prospect and generate more business. So it's like
Right.
things
Right.
are
Right.
great, there's that little
And
dip.
then,
Things are great, there's that little dip. So
Mhm.
that's kind of the thing for me. But I choose to have that the setup the way I do. I like it. I like the freedom of it. I don't want to have people reporting to me directly anymore. I did that already. So
Yeah, Gary got done. He said, no, just kind of do everything. I mean, especially with AI nowadays, I feel like that would be a lot easier for you to kind of really generate that without having like the people to talk to. Maybe you can have it on the side where it's like, oh, like you have someone else book later on, but I like the freedom is everything that a lot of people,
yeah.
especially nowadays, they're working 9 to 5, 40 hours, and they still are working paycheck to paycheck. But they being able to be free
Well,
and really break that. So,
Well, one of my motivators is one of my friend's fathers. And I used to say to
mm,
him years ago, when I was in corporate America, I wanted to leave and start my own business. And I talked to him. I said, Mr. Tepper, what are you doing today? And he said, doing what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm like, oh my God, I want to say that someday, man. I want to
yeah,
say it. And by and large, I do. Obviously, when I'm working with a client,
right.
that's my time I have to spend with them. But I want to do it. That's what I love
Mhm.
doing. I tell people, if you find a job that you love, you never work a day in your life again. And I feel that way. I don't work anymore. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that, I love what I do. So it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like work.
Well, it sounds like you're doing really well for your business, and I mean, a lot of people nowadays are out, trying to either start a business or trying to find other ways to really create that passive income or even try to replace their income. Like you said, getting out of business, corporate America, having that mindset to really shape your life into what it is now. So, what would you tell other listeners and to try to enhance their passive income or to replace them?
Well, again, find what you love to do. I mean, if
Mhm.
you're doing something you hate, it's going to be very tedious doing that. Find a
Right.
business or a job or a skill that you really truly love to do, where you don't feel like you're working anymore. Um, Most often you'll make the amount of money that will satisfy you if you're doing what you love. That would be my statement. I may, um, I do well for myself financially. That
Right.
wasn't my initial reason to go in there to do that
Mhm.
financially. I thought I could do it, but I kind of got tired of corporate America, and I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. But I always had a heart for training and development. So, I took the leap leap of faith. I left my last corporate job cold turkey and started this business
Oh, yeah.
that I knew I would be happy, and I just had faith. And I guess a piece of advice I'd give people is find what you'd love to do and start working towards doing that. And what I would also say is enjoy the process. I used to have a sticky pad note on my lamp here that I wrote one of the first days I started this business 20 years ago that said, enjoy the process. Because
Okay.
what I started this business out to be initially is a little bit different than what it
Yeah.
is now.
Right.
And some things I'm just like, this wasn't working. I don't enjoy this much. Let that part go into this realm. Or I learned a lesson there. That's not the way to do things. I lost money. Go here.
Mhm.
So do that. I mean, I'll say this too. I mean, fortunately, I'd spent 20 years in corporate America. I did have some financial backing. I had savings that I could fall back on. But it was my money. I didn't borrow any money from anyone. It was my money to choose to.
Right.
But so I didn't. I wasn't starving, and I had some time. I had windowed a time to be successful. I'd have to cut bait on it because I
Yeah.
didn't want to burn through my money. But it was well worth it. I mean, I absolutely am grateful for what I've done. I'm grateful for my past in corporate America. It gave me the skills and understanding that still bode well for me today. However, I could not work in corporate America ever again now that I've had a taste of freedom from owning my own business. So
Well, it's kind of like they give you small nuggets here and there. They give you, like I said, insurance paid for, you get a nice car, you had a good salary, but nothing really beats being able to be free. I feel like a
yep.
lot of people don't really experience that much. I feel like that, like I said earlier, they're all paycheck to paycheck, and they're just trying to understand what do I need to do next to survive. So
When I
yeah.
started losing sleep at night and on the weekends, most of my career was very good. 18 years in corporate was very good. Then at the end, I started getting
Mhm.
tired of it. A lot of things I was seeing I didn't like. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't think about work on the weekends or at night unless I wanted to. It was like, okay, I was
Right.
enjoying it. But when I started thinking about it at night and on the weekends and not enjoying it anymore was when I knew I was in trouble, meaning I got to make a leap and do what I've had a desire to do for a long time. And it still took me 2, 3 years after beginning to have those negative feelings, but it was also got to the point it was negative enough to press me into action. And I
Right.
actually did, and I'm grateful I did. So it all worked out well, and I do value my freedom. I'm 62 years old, and I have a lot of great hobbies that I've been able to develop that are very healthy
Mhm.
because of that freedom. I do kickboxing, I do hot yoga, and I can
Okay.
escape at lunchtime to do those things, or
Right.
during the day, where if I was in a regular 9 to 5 job, I couldn't do those things. And I'm Italian. I like to eat a lot. I'd be 300 pounds if I was probably working 9 to 5 at this age. So it allows me to do those other things that I truly enjoy that had been very good for my life, good for my mind.
Yeah, I do love some food. I do love I'll try any type of food. I love something that's I've always been a big foodie. I work out a lot to kind of counteract it. But eventually I do want to travel the world, and I've traveled a good amount, but just to
Yeah,
be able to be free enough to do and try any type of food. And if I want to go
yep,
somewhere, I'll go there.
yeah,
So that's one of
yep,
my biggest
yep,
things.
yeah,
But
and
as
it
a wrap
allows that.
Yeah. But as we're wrapping up, are there any exciting plans that you have for the next 6 to 12 months at all?
Well, I'm actually going to be moving. That's an exciting
Oh,
thing. I'm actually not moving far. I own a condominium in Tampa, and I've been in Tampa off
okay.
and on for 30 years. I'm a little Tampa'd out. I like the east coast of Florida, Delray Beach area.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to put my place up to rent in the beginning of February and moving over there, and then I'll pursue my business there. There's a lot more corporate headquarters over on the east
Yeah.
side of Florida, so I want to try to penetrate that market over there and grow some business. But so there's a little personal things, but business is hopping for the second half. I had a great close of 2024, and 2025 is looking great. I don't know if you know this. I've published 3 books. My first book's called Reach Out Approach. My second is called In Defense of Adversity. And I just recently launched, so this is a little exciting going into the new year. My third book, Thrive in the Face of Adversity. You can get it on Amazon and whatnot. So I'm promoting these as well,
Yeah.
too, as a little excitement into the new year. So
Well, thank you very much for everything and actually
thank
taking your
you.
time out today. I know, like you said, you have pretty big things happening on for your new 2025, especially with your new book. Being able to be authors are it's a very big thing. So, is there any way
It
that
is.
people can reach out? Is there? Oh yeah, I mean, I love audiobooks, so if there's an audiobook out there. I'll definitely try to look out for it for you. Um,
Only my second book has an audiobook. All three
okay,
books are on Amazon. The second book, In Defense of Adversity, has an audio.
okay,
In Defense of Adversity and it Thrive in the Face of Adversity are in paperback, and ebook as well
okay.
too. So you can go on Amazon and get those. And they're great books, timely for our crazy world we're in today, ways to deal with adversity and whatnot. So
Mhm.
go on Amazon, Google my name, Steve Gavatorta, Gavatorta. If you want to learn more about me, I just say Google me. Google my name. There's a ton of stuff out there. I have a YouTube site that also has a lot of great content a lot of helpful hands training,
Mm.
development notes on leadership, selling, facing adversity. I think I have over 200 videos up that site as well
Oh wow.
too.
Okay.
You can find how to reach me there as well too. So.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Like I
Thanks for
said,
your
I'm
time.
very grateful. I'm glad you take time out there, and I definitely want people who are listening to this podcast really reach out to you. I definitely want them to really
Appreciate you.
read the books. I think that being able to have someone who's a local in Tampa who's also moving and dominating the Florida aspect and that whole state, especially with all the new businesses and people feeling discouraged, I think they just definitely look out and when we need help as business owners, we have to take initiative.
Well, absolutely. I mean, most people, business owners try to do it on their own, and
Mhm.
bringing in a coach or a consultant helps them see things from the outside in. A non-biased opinion, it will go a long way. So business owners have to be willing. And here's another thing regarding coaching, training for business owners. That's an investment as well too. People often
Right.
don't want to spend their own. They wanted, when I first started my business consulting, I was focused really on a lot of personal coaching. Well, people
Mhm.
didn't want to dish out the money. They wanted the help, but they didn't want to dish out the money. When I
Right.
wanted to pursue this business, I dished out of my pocket my own money. I hired a coach to
Mhm.
help me. I got certified in an array of behavioral assessments. So you have to spend that money on yourself and your business investment spent on yourself and your business too. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't want to do that. And I think that's a mistake. I think you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in your business. If you can get that outside perspective looking in, I think that can go a long way.
I feel like it definitely shows too. I feel like that someone who doesn't want to learn, it definitely shows that they feel like that they're the best. And then what happens is people will come behind them. I feel like that the hardest working people, the most consistent people, and the one who are willing to
Yep,
adapt are the ones that really strive. So,
no doubt, no doubt.
well, thank you very much, Steve, and I hope you have a great
Thank you,
day.
man. You too, my friend. Keep me posted. If you ever need me to chat again, I'd be happy to help and enjoyed it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. And if you ever want, if you ever give a webinar for your next meeting at all, coming up at all, do you have anything coming up for the
Um,
webinar? Right?
uh, only through associations. You can attend one. You pay a fee for the organization, but I have one tomorrow. You can Google
Okay.
SMPS Greater Cincinnati, and I'm doing a webinar on business development. So you can check that out. But you probably have to pay a fee to watch. It's through my an association called SMPS, and I'm presenting for them. So the only thing I don't really do. Um, Broad-based webinars. It'll be for an association or a
Yeah.
client typically.
Hmm.
But with an association, you may be able to, just pay a fee to watch, might be a couple like 20, $30 or something, but you may be able to do that as well too. So
Great. Sounds like a plan. I might try to come on. So, all right, sir. Well,
sounds
thank
good.
you very
Sounds good, my
much.
friend. Have a great
Oh,
day.
you too, sir. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pathways to Prosperity podcast. Got a success story to share? Visit pathwaystoprosperitypodcast.com/guest and apply today.